Hi, welcome back to my channel. It's Brittany from Empurrium, and today we're going to sew one of my current favorite patterns. The Rosie Sling. This is a pattern from Knotted Threads Co. I have made 5 of them now. Yes, I got a couple more cut out because I'm obsessed with them. It is so much fun. This is the one we're going to sew in the video. I love it so much. I know I always say that. I really love this bag. So I have one that looks almost identical to this. It was the first one I made. I made it on October 13th. Today is March 18th. I have carried it nonstop. I have taken it on multiple trips. It's gone on the plane with me. I love it. But we're going to make this one today. So this Space Cats print is a print from Haley Snyder Designs, and I carry it on cotton woven and textured and smooth vinyl in my store. I have pre-orders. I almost always run it. And I also have retail, usually. And then this webbing is my Pastel Rainbow Stars on White. And it looks really cute with the Space Kitties. My zipper is from Wizardry. My vinyl and my hardware is from More Me Know. And then we went ahead and used the Fairy Floss sewing string, also from Wizardry. So this pattern features a really nice front pocket. Like, this whole thing is a pocket. They're falling. You can wear it on your front like this, which is honestly what I usually do. I'll wear it here and I'll throw my phone in here, and it's quick and easy access. You can also wear it as a sling on your back, and then depending on if you are a righty or a lefty or whatever shoulder you want to wear it on, you can change what side the strap is on. So those are the exterior features, and you use a 1.5 inch wide webbing that converts down to a 1 inch clip. You can change it up if you want to. It is up to you. The zipper opens nice and wide, and then inside we have a slip pocket that goes down to about here. It goes down pretty far. It is a nice size. So cute. It's a great spot to put fun little woven labels. So this one isn't as structured as most of mine, but this vinyl is thinner. And then I only used fusible fleece on this exterior panel. But going forward, I think I'm always going to do a layer of woven interfacing and the fusible fleece for this. It helps it sit nicer. This one I had done with a much thicker vinyl, so it is more structured. And this feels like I used both interfacings. But so that's really cute. This one, same deal. I should have. But once they're full, you're good. I do have a cutting video. I don't know if I interfaced during it. But it goes over all of it. I use the fusible fleece. You can use foam too. There is also instructions to make an all clear version. I haven't done that yet, but I have done a clear front pocket. It is really fun. For some reason I haven't done the binding on this one yet, so but you can also make the slip pocket clear, so that was really fun too. I did not change anything in this pattern. I did it completely how it says to do it. If you haven't made a Knotted Threads pattern before, they are very detailed, so there are a lot of pages. mildly overwhelming at first, but it is so worth it because Shannon is a mastermind. She just gives you so many tips to make the best bag that you can, and it is so worth it to listen to what she tells you to do and to follow the steps. So absolutely love it. You should definitely check this pattern out. I'm going to be making so many of them for shows and everything forever. I'm going to do it forever. Shannon said that she's made like 28, 38. I don't know. I'm going to try to beat her slowly. We'll see. Anyways, like I said, go check out my cutting video and then let's get sewing. If you haven't already subscribed, I would love if you did. Leave me a like and a comment. Let me know if you love the Rosie as much as I do. Like, look at those curves. Okay, let's sew. Okay, I'm so excited to get into the Rosie. We're going to go over the parts that we have first. For our front pocket, we have the exterior and the lining. And then for the middle panel, we have the exterior and the lining. The exterior, we have put the fleece here, and then this piece too. Our slip pocket inside. Our back panel, we have the Decaville Light stabilizer piece in here in the middle. For our zipper panel, we have our 2 exterior and 2 lining, and then the bottom of the gusset, we have the exterior and the lining. We have our strap connector piece, our top strap connector piece, our the panel piece to hold the D-rings, and then there is the trim for the front pocket and the inside slip pocket. I have my strips of waterproof canvas to bind with. I have my 1.5 inch webbing for my strap. I've got my zipper tape, and I always cut mine longer than I need to. I have 2 zipper pulls, 2 1-inch D-rings, a 1.5 inch rectangle, a 1.5 inch slider, and this is a slim slider, so it's really great for the webbing. All my hardware comes from More Me Know, but so they do have these thin ones. And then a 1-inch clip. If you didn't want to use a 1-inch and you wanted to use the 1.5, you just wouldn't use this connector. So this is what takes it from 1.5 inches to 1, which I really like this. And then I have my logo nameplate. So we are going to start with that front pocket that I buried, and then we're going to need the center pieces right after. Okay, so plop all that in there, put those there. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do before I do anything else is decide where I want my logo to go. Now, some people put their logos or like a little decorative magnet or something like right here, and it looks cute, but I have a friend who cracked her phone from having that piece there, so I'm not gonna do it. So I have kind of played with where my logo goes on these. Like I have one, it's right here. I've put like right here. Sometimes I just look at the print and kind of decide from there. So we're going to be doing like pleats, and they're going to go to there. So the pocket's really going to kind of be here-ish. I think that right there will be fine. So I'm going to find my center. Let's see here. Oh, perfect. Let's go up a little. Okay, and then I'm just lining it up to the bottom. I know that it will be straight that way. Is this right? Oh, wait. Okay, here. All right. made my marks. The fleece is like sometimes hard to get through with this, and I don't want to cut too big of a hole. Okay. All right, I'm gonna grab my duct tape because I do like to put a piece. All right, just pop that in there. Come on, I know I measured right. One thing that I did that I would probably change, because I finished another one the other day, is when I interfaced this piece, I only use the fusible fleece because my woven is a little bit thicker. It's not quite a canvas, but it is a little bit thicker than normal. I still would put the woven there and then the fusible fleece, so it won't be as structured. It's still fine, but I would put the interfacing there too. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to work on the pleats. So you're going to take, and we've marked those from our pattern piece, you're going to pinch them and make sure that they are lined up. And you're folding them right sides together. That is very important. And you can just kind of like do this and see, and then you should come to a point right where the point is. And we're doing this on the lining piece as well. Alright, and then we are going to sew on the line, and I like to do them back to back so I don't have to keep starting and stopping. For the majority, I think for all of this bag, I'm going to stick with 4.5 for my stitch length. So make sure you're back stitching at the start and stop of each of these. So see, I can just keep feeding them in one after the other. One more. And the pleats at the top of the pocket, they are supposed to be smaller. So if you're like, oh, these don't match, they're not supposed to. It's fine. So once we've got our pleats done on all of them, you can iron these down, but I like to just fold them. We're going to put these wrong sides together to make a sandwich. And we are going to go into the pleats, and you're going to want to fold them in the opposite directions and like a butterfly, and clip. And you're going to go to each one. I like putting the exterior ones towards the center. It's just something I do. You can do it either way. But you just want to make sure on each one that they're opposite and that they match up. And then this is going to match up. And you want it all to sit nicely. So it might not fully match up everywhere, but you want it, it's actually going to be this way. We'll do it this way. So like you don't want bunching. So we're going to try to get the bunching out and then clip from there. Like if you face this together and there's anything like hanging over significantly, you can just trim it. But we're going to base this all together all the way around. Excuse me. Okay, so mine matched up pretty well. You can see, pretty nice. All right, we're gonna do the trim next. So I'm gonna go ahead and find that, and I had marked it with front. Sorry. We're gonna take our 1/8 of an inch tape, and we are going to put it close to this center line on each side. Alright, and then I'm gonna peel the backing. I don't love this 3M tape, but I'm trying to use it because I have it. It isn't as sticky as I would like, which at times is nice because I don't worry about it gumming up my needle as much as like the really sticky stuff, but sometimes I'm just like, ugh. All right, so we are gonna get as close to this line as possible. I'm gonna go in the center and do that first, and then we are going to, it's kind of hard doing without, like sometimes I want to stand up and look at it, but I'm trying to not get in the way. All right, we're just going to maneuver this. Okay, now by having this all the way to that center line, when we fold over the other side, it's not going to go as far as the back, so when we top stitch it, we should definitely be able to catch both. But we're going to fold the top over now. You might need to use clips depending on your tape. Nothing wrong with that. Okay, now we're going to top stitch this, and you can kind of tell. See, it's just a touch further back, so when I go to the edge of this, I should definitely catch the back. And with your top stitch, or with your back stitch, you want to make sure it's at the edge, and that will help it not be seen. Like the back stitch will just be in your seam allowance. And then you can check and make sure, and see, it caught it, and this is over a little bit more than this side. If for some reason you don't catch it everywhere, you can do a second line of stitching. I've done that. I don't think there's anything wrong with doing that. And then we're gonna trim the overhang, and you want to make sure that you're getting it right to where the these pieces are. Sorry, words are not my strong suit today, apparently. All right, so now we're gonna take our middle panel pieces, and we're going to baste these together. Sometimes your vinyl might shrink a tiny bit when you interface it. And if that happens, just center it as best you can. Okay, so I'm going to baste these together. Okay, now I'm gonna make sure that I can still see my center markings everywhere, because they're on the insides. It would be better to center mark your lining on the right side. I did not center mark this, but we can line those pleats up to find the center, which is really the only one you need on this piece. But now what we're going to do is we're going to clip these together and baste them together. Okay. So, exterior right side up, pocket, exterior right side up. We are going to line up the bottom centers. And we're going to start clipping these. And you can just go from there and line them up to start. Okay, so this should sit slightly off the center, kind of where your extra interfacing that's in there goes to. And you can kind of eyeball it too. You might, I think I'm going to have to shift some of this, just like a touch. But it doesn't have to perfectly end in like one specific spot. Yeah, see, I just needed to adjust it a little. Okay. And then here you can just kind of feel again that it's in the right spot. And then basically it kind of ends up where the edge of your trim meets with that center mark. Oh, it's gonna be so cute. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're going to baste the pocket on. Okay, so there is our front pocket. So cute. We can set this piece to the side because we don't need it for a little bit. And now we're going to work on our back panel. So we need our D-ring anchor. We need our rectangle ring connector. We need our rectangle, our D-rings. We'll need 2 rivets, but I'm not going to grab them just yet. And we need the back panel piece. So we're going to work on next. Okay, for the rectangle ring connector, when we were interfacing it and cutting, we marked where to fuse this. What we're going to do is we're going to make little snips on both of these curved outside edges, and you really only want to go like 1/4 of an inch in. Okay, and then we're going to take our tape and we're going to go right outside this line on both sides. And press that down. Okay. See, just don't move this tape. Need to get more of the good stuff. And I could stop using this. I should probably not use this in videos, but see, some of us do struggle. So if you struggle, you're not alone. Anyways, okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to fold to the line. If you need, you can clip. But then we're going to take our rectangle and we're going to put it in there. And we're going to line these up. And they should line up pretty even. Looks like this is just the slightest bit out. That's okay. I'll sew it from this side Okay, so you can make a mark right here so that you know where your line's going to be. That's up to you if you want to do it. She gives you the measurement in the pattern. But we are going to stitch around. This is definitely a part where I like having my skinny foot on my machine. Okay, so what I do when I don't use like a mark is I'll take, and I can see like this is lined up here on my machine, and then I'll just go slow and make sure that it stays lined up. Okay, and then I'm going to use a scrap of vinyl and put it behind my foot so I don't tear up the vinyl right on that hardware. Unfortunately, it got a little caught up and I have some short stitches there, but I think it's okay. I don't want to rip it out and have the holes there. Okay, then I trimmed that, and we can go ahead and find the center. And then we have our center mark here. We're going to match that up and clip it in place, and then we're going to base that on. And I am going to backstitch. All the weight of the bag and all the tension is going to be on this. So you want to make sure that's on there well, but you don't want to stitch it so much that you're going to perforate your vinyl. Okay. And now we're going to grab our D-ring connector, and we're going to make a mark down the center. And we're going to use some more tape. Let's see if I can do it this time. Oh, there's one. Oh, yeah. Alright, we're going to fold all the way into the line on both sides. Okay, and you could use a seam roller here, flatten that out nice, and then we're going to stitch in further. Down both sides. It's a 3/8 stitch. So this one is just holding this all together. All right, now we get to make some marks on our Lovely. Okay, there's my center. So all of these measurements are in the pattern, so I'm not going to go over them, but I'm just going to show you. I'm making my marks. So we needed these 1-inch lines, and kind of measured that a little differently. Well, no. I marked the top and the bottoms so that I knew where exactly to cut without having to move my ruler around more. And if you can tell, like, this is interfaced back there. You can kind of, I don't know if you can tell in the light, but that's where the Decaville light is for extra reinforcement. I need to change the blade on this really bad. I'm gonna start it, and then I'm going to use these sharp scissors. You don't want to cut bigger than the 1 inch because you don't want to have like a hole. But you want to make sure that it is a full inch so that we can get this piece through it. Okay. So here is, like, here's that opening, right? So then we mark inside of it on both sides. And we need a little bit of tape right inside those lines. Okay. We're gonna take, and you can start with either side, and you want to make sure that the ugly side is gonna go like this. So we're gonna push one of these in, one end in here, and make sure that it's gonna lay nice. Might have to wiggle a little bit, see it like perfectly fits. So again, here's the ugly side. This is gonna end up like this. So you want the pretty side to be this way. But we'll flip it over, and we're gonna slide that. Okay. We're gonna line up the end to that line. And then we will flip it back over, and we're gonna stitch a little box right here. So there is a seam allowance for the sides and the top, and we're just gonna stitch that box. You could also wait to stitch this on, which I always think about doing, so that it's not like flopping around at this point, but that's, you know, something that if you decide you want to do, you can. Okay, so there is my box. We're going to do the same thing on the other side, but we have to put our D-rings on first. because they need to go on here. But we'll put that through here. So it's nice like that. But when we flip this over, we're gonna line it up, and then you're gonna want to pull it out so that it's flat. We're gonna stitch that same box, but you do have this to compete with, so you kind of just have to move it out of your way. But make sure that you don't pull it off the tape and it stays in place. Make sure you're not stitching through your hardware either. And I do give like just like the tiniest back stitch on each side of this box, just for peace of mind. So you've got this flapping around. We need to put a piece of tape down here. If I can find the end of this. It literally has like a design on it. Oh, it always is right where it's solid white and it trips me up. Okay, so you're gonna put this tape in here. I think it's probably easier if you put this in before, but I always forget. So it's fine. It's just going to be there to hold down this part. Okay. So see, it's not even wanting to stick. It's just misbehaving. All right. So give a little tug on your D-rings so that it is taut and it won't be like off-centered. And then press that flat. And then, yeah, she does tell you to put the tape down first. I just always forget. Okay, now we're going to make a mark for sewing. So I like to just make a tiny dot. Or like little mark where I'm going to be sewing. We are going to sew, and we are going to keep our tails long so that we can pull our threads inside and knot them off. And she tells you to start in the corner right where your line's going to be. So we are just going to sew a box on the edges. This is nice too because you don't have to get all the way to the edge of the hardware, so it's less stressful for that part at least. Okay, let me try to pull this through and knot this one off first, I like trying to do this before I get there so I don't have to worry about my threads getting tangled or anything like that. And that way I know that it's done. Okay. So ideally you want to start and stop in the same hole. I did, but honestly, I kind of went in an angle. It's okay. Alright, so this is what the back looks like. Yeah, see, I slanted a little. It's fine. And now we are going to mark for rivets. And I don't really measure. I just go about here, but definitely measure. Basically, you don't want to be inside the box where you stitched these on originally. You want to be just outside of it. Yeah, actually, this one needs to be like right here. Okay. I'm gonna grab my hole punch. And yeah, I can tell I won't be punching through that. So see, I'm right by it, but not in it. And you don't want to punch any of your stitches either. So you should be in the middle of those. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and set my rivets, and then we will work on our slip pocket next. Okay, so I riveted this back panel. I'm going to set it to the side for a moment, and I'm going to grab my lining for the back panel, set it aside for a moment. I grabbed a woven label. If you have like a fun one to use, that would be great. I grabbed this slip pocket piece and the trim, and this is really cool how this is done. So we're gonna start off by folding this in half. Get a good crease going, and then we're going to mark that center, and we are going to mark down each side. All of these measurements are in the pattern. I really don't like saying measurements if I don't need to, so do apologize. All right, and then we are going to make marks from the center point on each side. All right, and then we're gonna take tape and run that down each side. I think might not be done with the rollers, but close enough. All right. It's playing tricks on me again. Oh, I felt it. All right. So you're gonna put your tape inside of that line. I'm sorry too, if you hear my printer during like the whole video, I would totally not be printing during a video, but I have to print over 400 13 by 19 full color sheets for my wholesale cat toy order, and I can't not be printing. So I'm also going to go ahead right now and put tape down on this. We'll need that in a minute. Okay, so from here, we are going to cut all the way in to the line on each side. And then we're going to cut these pieces out. And what you end up with is this. So we're gonna remove the back of our tape. Just the backing. Okay. And then we're going to fold these in. You want to make sure you're folding all the way in. Okay. And then after that, we can fold all the edges in. My interfacing hung over the edge a little bit, so I'm gonna have to fight with mine slightly. I might just go ahead and put down some more tape. Oh boy. Yeah, I don't recommend this tape. Jeez. Okay. I'm just doing this because my interfacing is kind of strong and I'm having a hard time folding it straight at the edge. So this is me improvising on a little something. I should have marked on my woven so that my interfacing would have been lined up better. So that's on me, but I will make it work. Really don't like this tape. It's fine. Yeah. Okay. At this point, I'm just going to clip these like this. It just doesn't want to stick. So I might have a hard time matching my edges up because I am not very confident that it all lines up perfectly. You know what? It's not bad. Yay. Okay. It worked out. See? So you're gonna want this raw edge is the top. So you want your print to go up. And this is where you can put a little woven label in. And put it over here. So we're gonna baste this. You can also use fray check on these edges if you would like. Okay, and then this is gonna go on the same way that we did the trim on the front pocket. So we'll lay it down up to the line first. And then we will fold it over and top stitch. And be mindful again of your back stitch. Just don't get carried away with it. I think I might need another row of stitches. Oh, nope. Only the very edge went off, and that's okay because we're gonna stitch it down. I'm not worried about that. Okay, so we'll trim that off. And then there is a measurement to put this up on here. Just gonna go ahead and make these marks real quick. Okay. So you can take tape and put it all the way around. I generally don't, just because I know I've used a decent amount of tape so far, but for the most part, I try not to use tape if I don't need to. But if you feel like you are more confident that your pocket won't be crooked if you use the tape, like, it's not even okay. I'm just not gonna use the tape because I'm angry. Anyways, all right. I'm just going to make sure that this is going to be centered. And then I'm going to stitch this on. Is that? Messed it up. So you can leave the tails long and pull them through also. So I did backstitch, so I'm not going to tie this off, but I'll just pull the threads to the back so it's neater. Okay, and then you can put some rivets in here. You do not have to. The last one I made I didn't, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it so it's in here in the video. Grab my hole punch again and my rivets. So you're just going right inside the stitching on the trim. This would be a really cute spot to put something also. I almost pulled a Reach for the Stars Heartwood and Hide tag, but I like to hoard things because what if I want to use them later? Anyways, alright. This does look nice. I'm gonna set the rivets, and then we're gonna put our back panel wrong sides together with this, and we're going to baste those together, and then we will work on our zipper panel and gusset. Okay, so like I said, I did the rivets on the pocket, and then I basted this together. My lining overlaps a tiny bit, but I'm going to leave it for now because I know that the lining piece is the right size. Oh, hi, Donut. We are going to set this aside with the front pocket. So we have our front and our back ready. We just need to make our gusset. Apparently Donut would like to help. We don't need that ruler for a little bit. Okay, so we have our exterior pieces for our zipper. We have our lining pieces for our zipper tape, 2 zipper pulls, and then we'll need the gusset lining and exterior bottom pieces next. Okay, Donut, love you. I'm gonna go ahead and seal the ends of this zipper tape. I took a break to eat lunch and he wanted to share my chicken, so like, hey Mom. But you're going to put a zipper on each end, and you want to make sure that you don't mess up how the zipper tape is, like where the teeth go, because you don't want a bubble in the middle. So nope, just be mindful of which side was at the top. All right, so this is what it should look like. you shouldn't have like a bubble on either side. I'm going to go ahead and just do like a little bit of a tack. And then I keep my zipper tape longer so that I'm not stitching towards it. And then we need to mark center marks. I don't know why how I just said that. I keep the zipper tape longer so that I can keep the pulls to the end and they're out of the way. That's what I meant to say. Looks like I made center marks already, and I marked all of these so I know which side is for the zipper. So the way that this zipper panel is done, you definitely want to pay attention to how she tells you to do it, or you'll end up having it be off. But we are going to put tape, just 1/8 of an inch tape, at the edge of our exterior pieces. And this is going to help make sure that your zipper is real nice. Donna is somewhere else crying now. Okay. So we've got our tape. And we are going to start with, let's see, I always forget. Okay. The front zipper panel. So when you have them together, this is the front. Start with that. So you're going to take the backing off the tape. And then you're going to take your zipper tape and you're going to line up the centers. Come on. Okay. It's just hard for me to see. Okay, and then from that center, you're just gonna gently line up your zipper tape. You don't want to pull it or bunch it, but you're just going to nicely line it up. Alright. So see, I made sure that that hangs off a little bit, and then this, they're out of the way. What we need to do is baste this on, basically. So this is a 3/8 of an inch zipper seam allowance. So we're going to baste it on at 1/4 of an inch. I personally always have a problem with 3/8 inch zippers. I've got the skinny foot, but I don't have a zipper foot. I know some people, Shannon, the pattern author included, will use a domestic with a zipper foot to sew it. So that's an option too, but just don't want to get my domestic out. So anyways, I get as close as I can when I do it. Sometimes I'll do like 2 rows of stitches. So that's an option too. I find I get closer on the second one. So yes, we basted this on to the exterior. We did not do the lining yet. We're not going to do the lining still. We're going to go to the next piece. So this is where you definitely want to pay attention to what the pattern tells you, and you don't try to just line it up on your own and go. We are going to take the center and line that up. So this is why the center mark on the zipper is important, because you want to make sure that you accurately line that up. So, and then I'll just take this little straight section right here and I'll line that up first. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to the ends and line those up next. If you don't go to the end and line that up, you're gonna end up off. So I'll just go over here and start that because we have the straight spots, and then over here. So what I do is I fold this so that I can see exactly where that's gonna be, and then I just kind of line this up here. Like if you line your vinyl up, it's gonna go right to the even spot. And then I will do that straight part as well. Okay, so now you kind of have this little like bubble, but if you just give a gentle tug, it's going to straighten that out, and you can make the zipper fit in there real nice. Alright, so we will baste this side on also. The next thing we're gonna do is put the lining on, and then we're gonna do that at the 3/8 of an inch. After you do that, in the pattern she has you cut notches and remove this tape, and I can never remove it when I've got the lining on, so I'm gonna try. Yeah, see, this is why I don't really ever do this, because I end up, yeah, it wants to, I think it really probably depends on what tape you use, and we have proven today more than one time that my tape sucks. So there are notches we're going to be cutting, and I don't always do them because it hurts my hands when I have this tape and I'm trying to get the tape out and all of that. But I was like, I should really show that in this video. It would be good. So let's see if I can get this tape going. Hoping if I separate first. Oh, got further. Since we don't need this tape anymore now that we've attached it. do think that doing this right now without the lining on is definitely easier. So I would do it this way again. I hate this tape. I hate it so much. But it was so necessary to get that zipper looking so nice and flat. Okay, one more. And then I already did that side, didn't I? How much tape did I take off already? Oh, this is better than I thought. I thought I still had to do the whole side. I must have switched and didn't even notice. Who knows? I'm recording this on a Monday also, so just explain some things. Almost done. This is one of those parts where I could, you know, probably cut it out of the video, but here we are. We're doing it together. Okay. It'll be worth it. Alright. So that's the front and the back. Front and the back. I think this is how it went. The nice thing about this is you can easily find out if it's not. So for the lining, it is easier to put on. I've actually debated doing this at 1/4 of an inch and then just going back through and doing 3/8. And I think I might do that because the last one I made, it was like, I feel like it shifted a little. So let's do 1/4 of an inch and then we're going to go through, back through after. This way I know that it is lining up on the edges perfectly and I'm not fighting with the zipper. Okay, so yep, it's practically perfectly on the same line, so that's really good, and everything lines up really nice. Now I do think that when I do the zipper, having the zipper taped down for some reason is easier. Yeah, see, because getting as close as possible, like if I go all the way to the 3/8, I'm like on the zipper, but we are gonna get as close as we can, and since this is all lined up already, I can just kind of use the zipper tape as a guide for how far I'm able to get over. But definitely, if you have a zipper foot or you're on a domestic, it's going to be easier for you to get that 3/8 inch. So see, it went in, but not really like quite 3/8, but we're getting as close as we can and it will still work. So same thing on the other side. And it is like, it's kind of awkward. But you just gotta work around it. Okay, and then I'm gonna go back there and get closer. Before you top stitch, this is where you can make your notches, and yes, right? Yes. All right. So do not cut your zipper tape, but on these curves, you can make these little notches. Again, not on the zipper tape. we're just doing the lining in the exterior. And this helps with bunching. These scissors have very sharp tips, so they are really nice for this. And I think had I had them back when I made my first one, I would have felt differently about doing this. I guess also, like, I had the tape stuck in there originally, and that made it really difficult too, but these are the Kai V5165. I have them on my Amazon storefront. I really like them. They are very sharp, so you do have to be careful with them. Please. Okay. Same thing. I think the hard part is making sure, like, is the zipper out of there? Not cutting my zipper, am I? Okay, you don't have to do the straight parts. All right, we are ready to top stitch this. So, I like to give a nice little tug. And then clip. You can press this before top stitching if you have materials that you're able to do so. Okay, and then we are just going to top stitch the zipper down each end, each side. came from. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is move, oh, I'm like, we're gonna move the zipper, but I forgot it. I had like this little jump stitch. Make sure if you do that like me, you move that. Okay, so zipper in the middle, and we're gonna trim the overhang of the zipper tape. It is gonna look a little funky. And I'm going to use my lighter on these ends. Okay. We're gonna make some marks on these in a minute, but what I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to mark them now. I think it's easier to access before more stuff is sewn. It's just my personal preference. Oh, we're not done with the tape. These are also going to get some pieces of tape. In the pattern, the tape goes on the corner like 2 pieces, but I've just been putting one here. It's easier for me. I don't have to finagle, fumble, whatever you want to say. I don't have to try to get them in the spots, and for the most part it's been holding enough, but it's just easier for me. Okay, so we're going to grab our bottom gusset pieces, and we're going to take the exterior first, and we're going to put it right sides together and center it. So you can see mine overhangs a little bit. I didn't get close enough on my zipper seam allowance, so that is why that is like that. But I will even it out. So what we're going to do is we're going to move the lining out of the way. And we're going to stitch the exterior pieces together only. The start and the stop. And then this is where she has you make these marks, but you fold this corner in. So this is, it's a technique to reduce the bulk, but you're gonna fold that there. And then we could go ahead, I'm just gonna put a clip there to hold it. Donut, you got a spring? Oh, he brought me fresh prey. Good boy. I love that cat. Okay. I forgot. Okay, so now we need to cut to the stitches, but not through. And you can kind of use your marking to show you where your marking you made for your interfacing. And then we're going to put a piece of tape And we're going to fold this, and that's going to reduce our bulk there. So both sides. So we have eliminated a bunch of bulk right here. And then we're going to grab our lining bottom gusset piece. And line that up. Then we're going to stitch across everything. You'll be on the same line that you stitched when you didn't go all the way. Okay. And then we're going to do the same thing over here on the other side. So I'm just going to work through it real quick here. So again, we avoided the lining. We're going to cut that, put some tape on it. I do like that I can tear the tape like when I'm doing all these little pieces. But overall, then we'll pull the lining and stitch all the way across. Okay. So now we need to flip this right side out, and this is what you should have. We're going to top stitch these, and then we will baste everything together. So you can see this doesn't, I will just barely like adjust it so that they do. Okay. I have tried figuring out a way to do this all in like one step, and I thought about it and I was like, oh, that would make sense, but I don't think I can, because I was like, well, if I stitch here and then like around, but then I'm here again, or if I go like here, yeah, I don't know. I don't think it can be done in one. So I'm just clipping this together so that it'll be nice when I go to baste it all together. You can kind of give it a little tug to make sure that everything is nice. Okay. I like to stitch this way. So I'm just gonna stitch around. So most of this is just basting, but when we get to this seam, it is going to be a top stitch across. So you just want to make sure that your layers are sitting nicely. I know it's going to be hard for you to see, I'm sorry. The other side might be easier to see. Kind of like just your typical gusset at this point. By stitching, basting these pieces together while doing this, I don't have to backstitch right here. And I know that the thread is tying in to here. So that's nice. Okay. And then we need to baste these together. I'm going to go in a little here because I'm going to need to... Oops, didn't mean to go in that further. But I need to trim that off a little to even it up. Okay, so see how that is right there? And like it's nice and even. Okay, what I need to do though is I just need to like even this up a little. It's not a lot, and it wouldn't have been there anyways, but you know, my zipper seam allowance. Okay. Just be careful when you're doing that, that you're not changing the shape. Alright, now we get to assemble. So we're gonna need our gusset, our back, and our front. Okay, so front first. We're gonna take and find our gusset centers. So I'm just gonna match up the seam. Make some notches. Okay. So the smaller part is your front. And then this is your back. I need to fix this a little. Alright, so this, we're going to turn it inside out actually. So this is what it looks like inside out. So right here, this center mark is going to match up with the center mark on that front panel. And then this center mark is going to match up with the center mark on the bottom. And I don't want to tell you wrong, so let me look real quick. Yes, okay. The center mark here is going to line up right on the seam of your gusset. So you're going to get those 4 spots marked, and then we're going to work on the straight areas around each of those. Now for the curved areas, we are going to cut. You do not want to go any further than 1/4 of an inch for your notches, and you are cutting through those basting stitches, and that is perfectly fine. You actually want to. It's going to help it stretch out. This is another thing that these scissors are so nice for. Okay, so now this should, sorry, need more clips. This should stretch out nicely and fit better. On each curve. And I'm going to staple this too. Like, you can definitely staple those curves. Alright. So, let's throw some staples in the curves. Just going to help it stay in place. So that it won't shift. And you can put staples wherever you want, but you can put some in the straight edges too, if you think you need to. There's nothing wrong with doing that either. So now we are just going to stitch around. And this is where a stiletto is nice to have. And this stitch is not your final seam allowance. So we're doing a 4th here. But when we do the binding at the very end, we'll go in to the 3/8 of an inch. Okay, so just making sure we got everything. I like removing my staples with my fancy rainbow screwdriver, but you just kind of use it like a staple remover. One more. At this spot, you can bind this side and then move to the other, but I don't because I finish my binding on my cylinder arm. But there is one side on, so same thing for this back. We're going to line up our center marks. And then start working on those straight edges. Okay, cut our snips for our curves. And when I do this, I grab the panel and pull it out of the way like this. Make sure I am not snipping it. Also, some patterns you do, but not this one. I'm thinking I might need to move, yeah, okay. Need to move these markings down just the tiniest bit. I have like too much up here and not enough down here. So I'm going to adjust it the tiniest bit. Think. Wait, no, move that side the wrong way. I was like, wait. Okay, let's see. You just don't want it to be lopsided. That's so as long as it's even on each side. Needed ease onto that corner a tiny bit, but that will look good. All right, throw some staples in. Here we go. You can like open this zipper. Sometimes that makes the second side a little bit easier. And the reason that I have to adjust a little bit is probably has to do with me trimming a little with my zipper seam allowance not being the world's most accurate. But as long as you adjust it and you're mindful, it all ends up fitting together nicely. You have to take the time to adjust it a little. So this is where having this open is beneficial to be able to make sure this is all laying nicely as I'm sewing it. That looks really nice too. Yay. Alright, take our staples out. And then the next step is to bind it. But I'm going to finish my strap real quick because I'm going to be moving to my cylinder arm to do the binding. So by all means, bind it first and then finish your strap. It truly makes more sense doing it that way. Oh, come on. If you aren't switching machines. But I don't want to unthread this to rethread it. For that, I am going to trim overhang in a couple of spots just so when I go and bind, I won't mess up my seam allowance. But that is not bad. Okay. So we need to finish the strap. Sorry. Our webbing, our connector, our a 1-inch clip, and our 1.5-inch slide. Something I did that I want to do again is this is stretchy vinyl, but if you take a scrap of something even as simple as waterproof canvas and I'm just going to tape it to it right in the middle, it's going to help it not stretch. So you could interface your vinyl also, like that is also an option. But I do believe we need to start at the other end. I always like have to think about this because I'm like, I have done it backwards so many times. It's so silly. Yes. Okay. So with our slide, be mindful if you have a right and wrong side of your webbing. But I like taking my webbing and folding it over like so, so that the raw edge is enclosed. And then I do an X. And I also, if I didn't do it on that one, I should have, but make sure you heat seal those. Okay, so this is how the bag will set. We're going to want our webbing and our strap to come out like this. So this is how, nope, see, that was wrong. You want to make sure you have it going the right way or you'll be upset. Okay, because this essentially is the back of the bag and then the strap comes down. Like so. Yes. Alright, so this is what you want. Like, the top of the bag will be here. Like this. Alright. So once that is right, you're gonna, it doesn't matter which side this is. You're gonna take and put this inside your strap. If you've got a lot of pen marks showing, you can, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that. You could edge coat this piece if you wanted to, but you're going to line up your webbing so that it is straight in there and centered, and then this folds down and you should be able to feel that it is even everywhere. And then I like to start and stop at the top of this. And you can go slow to make sure you're doing that curve nicely. Whenever you lift your foot to pivot, you want to make sure that your needle is coming back up after it has finished your stitch. I'm gonna trim that before I get back. Definitely worth taking your time to make sure that this looks nice. You can put a rivet here if you'd like. That is up to you. And so you can kind of see where I put that in, but this is not stretching because that is stitched in to that. So just a little something I like to add depending on the vinyl being used. Now this can just go inside of here. It's not gonna bother anything. And then we will switch to the cylinder arm to do the binding and we'll be done. Okay, we're gonna bind this Rosie. It is now late in the evening, bedtime, and you might hear my children directly above me whining. I think my boyfriend's struggling up there. Okay, so we've got our waterproof canvas binding that is cut to the dimensions given in the pattern. And I'm going to place it right side down. And I'm going to stitch on the panels, not the gusset to start, but this is where we're going to go in to our 3/8 inch seam allowance. Turn our machine on because I hear that works better. And okay, I have scissors over here. I'm not going to clip as I go. I'm just going to hold it in place, which is honestly like refreshing too, because usually I do so many clips for my binding, but we're gonna make little snips for the curves. And we're gonna knock everything down on our table while we stitch, because our cats were probably moving everything earlier. That's cute. Anyways. The straightaways are so much easier. Okay, so we're at a curve again. And I'm snipping no more than 1/8 of an inch, or 1/4 of an inch in. Come to think of it, I might have done it the other way last time. I can't remember. I just kind of pick one. I can hear them, so I don't know if you can hear them. I'm just like, oh boy. Can't wait to find out if this yelling is in my video. Okay, so we're almost to the curve. And then we are going to cut this so that it will overlap. Not by a ton. And then right here you could go ahead and do the other side, or you can continue. I'm going to continue. So you're just going around and folding this over. Yes, I do think I did it the other time last time. I think I prefer it that way, but you can do it either way. Yeah, I did it the other way last time. Okay, so I will go through and put some clips. I'm just folding this over, and then I'm trying to make sure that it is nice and flush and it's not like hanging over a bunch. I think that my curves, well, I'm not sure. I was gonna say they might have looked better the other way, but I truly feel like both sides look nice, and it is just a preference. And I'm not 100% sure which is mine. You can kind of take your hand and smooth it over. So the stitch we just made is what is our stitch, and now we're gonna go right here like 1/8 of an inch from that and stitch. And because this hangs over, it's going to definitely catch on the back the whole entire way. I think if you don't have a cylinder arm, that doing it this way is probably going to be easier with maneuvering it on the flatbed versus the other direction. You kind of have it sitting down lower. It's hard to explain, but if you can envision it. And these clips really aren't actually holding anything. Okay, so that is what that looks like. It is very nice. we need to do the same thing on the other side. So I'm gonna do it the same way on this one. I do add a little clip here to get started. Make our curved snips. You just want to keep sure, make sure that you're keeping everything lined up and that you're staying consistent with your seam allowance. Okay, make our notches. Snips. There are several points on this bag too if you wanted to make sure that everything was stitched together nicely. You could have flipped the bag right side out to check. Excuse me. I haven't done that. You can usually just tell that everything should be fine. I guess I'll let you know when that bites me in the butt, but so like before we started doing the binding, after we had put the gusset on the front and back panels, we could have flipped it to make sure everything looked right. I just try to flip bags as little as possible because it hurts my hands. We're almost there. We only have to stitch one more time. I'm so excited to see this one done. Okay. Get a little jealous sometimes that knowing when I'm recording this, when like everyone that's watching has already seen it finished because they got to watch the intro first. They know what it looks like. It's not fair. Why'd I have to be the last one? So again, I'm just gonna put some clips. Just to make sure it's got it laying flat. I think that the curves are just a little bit harder to fold this over this way. Maybe that's what it is, but everything else goes really well. Again, once you've done it a couple of times, you'll end up with a preference of how you'd like to do it, and you can do it that way every time if you remember. If you forget like me, and just wing it, and all is well. There isn't a right or a wrong way for it. Okay. Final stitch. Got this. The curves are just so easy to do the binding this way, and just knowing that I'm not going to miss spots is such a relief too. Like, I don't hate binding when I do it this way. I have been converted and I won't go back. There are times that I will use like my double fold bias going forward. Like, there's a makeup bag I really like making, and you finish the edges that'll be seen like on the outside with it, and that looks really nice. You wouldn't want a raw edge like this, but this is the inside of a bag. Okay, so the last thing we have to do is we need to trim the excess. So what you're gonna do is, I'm gonna get this started, and if your scissors are sharp enough, you can kind of just glide them. I was trying to do it at an angle that you could see better, but it was making it harder for me. And you can trim as close as possible to your stitches if you'd like. I do find that when I try to do that, sometimes I get like a real wavy edge going. So for me, this is good. So go to the other side. And you kind of just get the feel for it. Okay, we're ready to turn it. It looks so cute. So here goes nothing. And this is one of my favorite parts of this bag, is just how nice these curves are. Like, it's so good. Okay, so our strap. Whoa, what happened there? I tend to keep mine on this side, I think. Yes. Oh, it's cute. So cute. I would say this one maybe isn't the most structured one that I have made, because this vinyl is thinner, but it still feels really nice. I do think that the way that you bind it, like the direction, makes a little bit of a difference. Why are you dipping in right there? I don't know. I think it just needs a little bit of shape. It is so stinking cute. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Hopefully you can make a Rosie too. It is definitely one of my favorite makes. Like I said, I've carried this bag myself, the one I made myself, for 5 months now, so it is approved by me. If you haven't already subscribed, I would love if you did. Leave a like. Let me know if you have made one or if you plan to. Have a great day. Bye.